Hello, everyone, and it's that time again. Welcome to the Sidney St. James Show. We sure appreciate you dropping in. Are you in true love? Do you want to truly love your partner? Here are the characteristics of true love you should know and implement in your relationship. This podcast today is for you. Hello, everyone. Sidney St. James back with you for another exciting podcast. In my last two episodes, where I paid tribute to our friends and family in World War II, I spoke of three special friends I called the Three Musketeers of Eagle Lake, Texas. They were true friends. Today, however, I will talk about taking that friendship to another level. True love. You know, love is something that most of us can't really describe in words. One thing is for sure, however, and that is true love is rare to find. When we fall in love, the world looks beautiful. Everything around looks incredible, and our hearts, they fill up with purity. I talked with a young person the other day and asked him if his girlfriend was the one. This person responded by saying he really wasn't sure if they were the one that he wanted to live with every moment of his life. I stopped him and asked that exact question. Were they sure that they had found the best match for them for the rest of their life? In my podcast today, we will be discussing the awesomeness of true love and its distinctive qualities. You know, to love is incredible. Think about it. And to get loved by the person we love is even more gratifying. But as we search for love at all ages, many of us fall into traps of what I call fake love. I try my very best to build boy meets girl, or girl meets boy, or even boys and girls meet each other, to read as naturally as possible in my romance genres. All of us should be smart enough to differentiate between true love and lust. So, let us get started to know about the qualities of true love. Is there an emotional bond that deserves to be called true love? Is true love possible, or is it just lust? For example, in a George Strait song, he tells a girl that she stole his chair, when in fact, it was only a line in his song just to get over there and because he was attracted to her. He was attracted to her for some reason, no doubt. Then, I don't know how many listen to country music, but in the Brooks and Dunn song, they obviously loved redheads and wanted a shot at one on the dance floor. Or even, how many of you remember the Judge song? Grandpa, take me back to yesterday. Did lovers really fall in love to last a lifetime back then and stand beside each other no matter what? You know, when I was doing a lot of research for my romance novels, I found some statistics that were out there, and one of them was that the divorce rate went down 3 years in a row between the years of 2013 to 2016. And marriages still have only about a 50% chance of lasting that lifetime. For years, marriage rates went down. mainly due to young adults waiting longer to get married. Many that I have talked to say that they don't intend to ever tie that knot. You know, love is a powerful thing, and the belief that love is true when it lasts is not an outdated concept. In my book, True Love Ways, and it got its title from a song by Peter and Gordon from the 60s, our singers describe, just as the book does, how a relationship grows into true love, from kisses to a commitment that lasts forever. I know you're probably sitting there wondering how a person can know that a relationship will last forever. Lovers don't expect that even a genuine relationship will consist only of passionate, positive emotions. The same song, sung by Peter and Gordon about True Love Ways, was written in 1960 by Buddy Holly, and it was released after his death in a plane crash. It was written as a wedding gift for his wife. The lyrics are powerful. Sometimes we'll sigh, and sometimes we'll cry. Throughout the days, our true love ways will bring us joys to share with those who really care. Most people share a common image of what it means to be loved. Critical characteristics of knowing someone loves you include support without expecting anything in return, or compassion during difficult times, or spending quality time together and being told you are loved, feeling special and appreciated. Oh, and yes, we all get in the doghouse every once in a while, and being forgiven for something we did wrong is part of true love. By contrast, people agree that we don't feel love when someone is possessive or they try to control us. And this part of true love, which isn't true love, can be shown in my novel Faith, 70 times 7, one of my earlier novels. How we love others can vary with different relationships and in various situations. Again, you know, when writing my romance novels, I have to ask myself whether one style of loving represents what all readers envision as true love. That's the only way to make a good romance novel work. While each style illustrates our yearning to find the right person who will satisfy our need to be loved, meaningful wow reveals our ability for what might come the closest to pure love. Rather than being concerned with how a relationship benefits us, a meaningful relationship is focused on the best interest of the one that we love. It is true love that puts the other person first. You will no doubt see this answered for you in the second novel of I Am Woman. You can discover this style where my characters try to always help their lover through challenging times, sacrifice their own wishes to let their lover achieve theirs, endure everything for the sake of the one that they love, and, even more important, suffer in place of their soulmate. And there is one part in that novel that actually brought tears to my eyes. So when writing some of these romance novels, and talking about true love. You put a lot of feeling into what you're doing when you're writing the novel. And in this novel, that happened to me. You know, in true love, selfless caring is associated with deep love, intimate communication, devotion, and commitment. In addition, couples who are in meaningful relationships are more than likely to handle stress effectively by supporting each other and dealing with problems mutually, promoting their sense of togetherness. But are there costs to loving in such a selfless way? What are the psychological consequences of unselfish love? I'll tell you. One would anticipate that the strong commitment and deep bond would mean substantial, and I mean substantial, emotional pain if the relationship fails. The end of such a prosperous committing relationship can result in feelings of profound loss and sadness. The more rewarding love is, the more greater the loss. Taking the risk of one day having to pay such a price is inherent in the essential nature of all giving and selfless love. Is it realistic to think that we can love in such an all-giving, non-demanding way? In searching for true love, we need to pass our focus and pass our energy from receiving to giving. Perhaps there's such a thing as true love. And maybe, just maybe, it can last. I have 3 parts associated with what is true love. And most of my novels that I'm writing take into account these 3 parts. In my 2-part series, I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, and Part 2, I Am Woman, I Am Invincible. In these 2 books, I try to incorporate these 3 parts that follow into the novel, just as though it were in real life. And in these 3 parts will help you see how I build my plot and help you determine if what you have in your own relationship is true love. But before we continue with the 3 parts of true love, a special word from my sponsor. Have you heard about Anchor.fm by Spotify? It's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Yep, Anchor has the tools that will allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. Welcome back. For the first of the 3 parts of true love, we'll deal with passion. This part includes the physical and sexual attraction. It is like, wow, or wow, or just holding your mouth wide open. You might hear angels, and you might hear music. You initially cannot get over this person. The appeal, there's something about it. It's just, well, what else can I say but overwhelming. Let me give you an example. I had a difficult time wearing contacts when I was young, and the only glasses I had made me look like the nutty professor. I always put them in my pocket when I walked into the dance hall at the Winchester Club in Houston, Texas. Then, one night, I saw standing by the pool table a redhead. I couldn't see her good, but all the shape was perfect. I asked my friend Alan, I said, "Hal, is she pretty?" And he said, "Sure, she's pretty." And I always trusted him, right? Right. I walked over, and my God, Alan was right. Wow is an understatement. She could have been wearing a pair of wings on her back. An angel indeed. But you know something? And it's not for discussing in this podcast, because in this podcast we're talking about true love. I'll tell in another podcast where he wasn't quite truthful with me and how it all backfired. But anyhow, back to the redhead. So I'm standing there. I'm looking at her. I'm actually getting perspiration building up on my forehead. I said, "Oh my God, she was the most beautiful girl I think I've ever seen." So electricity and chemistry were constantly zapping and bubbling in and around me. Oh God, I felt obsessive need to have my feelings reciprocated. For most persons, this is the first part of feeling attraction. In my case, however, for this one particular time, the redhead, she said no when I asked her to dance, and my heart fell to the floor. Secondly, intimacy. You know, intimacy actually leads to attachment. It creates a closeness and a connectedness. We call this process becoming bonded with that other person. And intimacy grows first by spending a lot of time with another person. Then it grows even deeper by sharing with each other every facet of our lives. If you like to hunt, you like to fish, you like to go dancing, you like to go to the museum or the opera, you spend every bit of your time with them. You know, intimacy is built on trust and understanding. If you can't trust and feel totally safe with someone, intimacy vanishes and will deteriorate into skepticism and suspicion. You know, it really does take a lot of patience for intimacy to develop. Many aren't prepared for such a task. It's truly a workout. It entails a bunch of talking and disclosure. If a person's been abused or injured in a previous relationship, then they'll have a great difficulty finding closeness due to former existing walls of distrust. I see this every night when I watch one of the Hallmark mystery and movie channels. I see this distrust grow in lots of the characters. And believe you me, I actually take this and some of these distrusts that they have, and I incorporate them in my way of thinking as I develop my novels, or my romance novels actually. The tendency will be to project past hurts onto the current relationship. And lastly, commitment. Commitment infers the ability to remain connected no matter what. A mature person can work through misunderstandings and hurts in a meaningful way to stay together, and is believing the best of the other person, not prejudging them with evil motives. It is working positively to solve issues. For a couple to remain together, they must consistently break through the obstacles of being offended while assuming that the other person also wants to resolve it. Commitment, however, is not for the light-hearted. Herein lies the real challenge. Let's get down to brass tacks. I once knew a couple where one got very sick. As a matter of fact, they needed surgery. And after the surgery, this person was unable to walk again. Think about this. Will you be committed to that other person in the long haul now, even when they gain, I guess, a few pounds, lose their hair? Yeah, I can relate to that. Be bald-headed? Yep. Get sick and have surgery and can't walk again? That is a key. Or there are some that change in their economic status. Some people get filthy rich. Some get filthy broke. And when any of these things happen, people walk away from one another. Commitment doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, just that you can respect their differences. You know, in these three components of true love, I have found that true love is like a flame. All the monsoon rainfall, the hurricanes, flash floods can't put out the flame of love. So, what is your love made of? In my novels, Part 1 and Part 2 of I Am Woman, we will follow our four main characters: Diane Jenkins, Bonzo, Debbie, and Frances. After writing many romances associated with love and lust, I put what I've learned in 50-plus novels to demonstrate true love on and off the battlefield during the Civil War. From the various books in the Lincoln Assassination series, or the Gideon Detective series, or even my Love Lost series, and finally to my last two novels, I Am Woman. True love was found by many, and love was also lost by many. A snippet from I Am Woman is now presented. Yes, I'm surprised you remember, you damn traitor. It's very nearly all that you Confederates have left for me, answered the tough woman, without raising her eyes in the direction of her once dear friend. Have you not a kind welcome for one of the four Musketeers? Remember, we all made a promise under the large magnolia tree over 3 years ago. No, as a matter of fact, I don't have a kind welcome for you, Frances. I would not have a kind welcome for my own grandmother had she become a Reb's wife, relentlessly answered Bonzo. But I am no Reb, Bonzo. I've taken the oath of allegiance, or you wouldn't see me here this evening, said Frances with a bizarre laugh. Hearing these words from her once best friend set Debbie's spirit free. Have you? Come, Debbie, have you indeed? Then you are welcome, very welcome. Heck, 3 times welcome. Sit down. Take a load off your feet and remove your shawl and bonnet. I must tell you why I've come by today. There's no need. We've missed you. We've missed you so much. Yes, there is a need, my dearest friend. The girls had been sitting by the light of the fire as the late fall temperatures began to fall. Finally, Debbie arose and lighted a Gone with the Wind lamp on a nearby table. After the room lit up more brightly, Bonzo and Debbie saw their friend more plainly. They both shuddered as they gazed upon her. Although her dress was all black, it was stained by mud and dirt. Yet her face and form still held great beauty. Her oval face was lengthened and hollowed. Frances' once fair complexion was sunburned, and her brilliant auburn hair faded. There was no doubt that one long look at Frances spoke of hardships and exposures of the hunted life she led by a guerrilla commander's side. "Oh, my God, Frances, please stay with Bonzo and me here at the parsonage. Rest here, my storm-beaten friend," murmured Debbie, gently caressing her long-lost pal. "Oh, it is so good to lay eyes on you, Debbie. And you too, Bonzo. I knew I could come to you and all people in my life in my hour of distress. I will do everything I can, Frances, to help you. Everything. I mean, not incompatible with the service of the Stars and Stripes, but of course you wouldn't want me to compromise my duty to my country, for you have taken the oath of allegiance, right?" "Yes, Deb, I've taken the oath." "I wouldn't be here if I didn't," replied Frances. "Then the oath you took was an obligatory oath? Is that right, Frances?" Bonzo asked very dryly. "It was compulsory in the fact that I would not have been allowed to cross your lines without having first taken it." "Ah, there you go. Stop right there, Jack. Why didn't you say our lines, since you have taken the oath and are now one of us?" "Oh, I don't know. I guess I'm just speaking from the force of habit. That's all," answered Frances Rizzo. "Do you honestly mean to keep your oath?" asked Bonzo. "Absolutely. Why is it that you ask me such a question?" "Because there's no reason to keep your oath. It was something you must do to cross into our country. The oath you took was not morally or legally binding. At least, they are not held by persons of your way of thinking. That's all, Frances. So, you've made your bed with the traitors, and now you come here wanting to be best friends again. That's not true. I hold myself bound by the oath I took. However, dear friend, who once I called a sister, and still do, it seems that you are mocking me." "Why do you now mock me, Bonzo, who you once called one of the four sisters bound by our pledges for life 4 years at Hampton graduation?" "You have fallen down, there's no doubt. But, Frances, have you actually fallen down? Or are you only crouching down, preparing yourself for a fatal spring? Your clothes and hair might tell us one thing, but your eyes, Frances, say something totally different. Bonzo, enough. The words flowing out of your mouth are cruel. They're unjust. We are pledged as friends forever. That doesn't change," Debbie exclaimed gravely. "I will leave you with this, Deb. If you or Diane have any state secrets from coming and going from the hospital each day, it will profit the Confederacy to know them. Don't communicate them to Frances. That's all I'm saying. Bonzo, I don't hear of any state secrets when helping soldiers to try and stay alive at the hospital. I hear no secrets when I hold their hand, and I watch them die with a gentle smile on their faces. No, Bonzo, I fear no betrayal of confidence on the part of our friend Frances," Debbie continued, holding out her hand in a pledge of trust to her sorrowing pledged sister. Two held hands for a few moments and then continued. "Don't mind Bonzo. You know her from college. She's one of our group. We all know how she mocks everything, even at her own father. That's our Bonzo, I'm afraid," said Debbie. "Yes, I remember. I don't heed her since you trust me, Debbie," Frances replied. "I think that Diane should be here soon. When she gets here, we four, who call ourselves the 4 Musketeers of Hampton and be inseparable friends for life will be together once more. We will be together for the first time since we spent that wonderful summer at your father's lovely home on the river, Francis. Ah, that's right. The wonderful summer before this terrible war. Oh, how I wish we were there and not in this awful conflict. Be comforted to know that the happy days may return again soon, said Debbie kindly. Well, that does it for me for episode 19. I will close with the song that inspired the writing of True Love Ways and I Am Woman. As always, I really appreciate you dropping by today and hope to see you next week when we talk about the power of music. A preview is that one of our 4 lead characters is dying on the battlefield. She looks up at the man she loves, and for the next 3 minutes, the following song plays. So now that a picture is painted for you to see, close your eyes, and we'll finish today with imagining a scene from my book when the man she loves holds her in his arms.
Just you know why you and I will by and by know true love ways. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll cry, and you'll know why. Just you and I know true love ways. Throughout the day, our true love ways will bring us joy to share with those who really care. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll cry, and you know why. Just you and I know true love ways. Throughout the day, our true love ways will bring us joy to share with those who really care. Sometimes we'll sigh, sometimes we'll cry, and you know why. Just you and I know true love ways.
Well, that does it for me for another great episode from Sidney St. James. Be sure to click on the tab above that says send a voice message, and I will get it from you, and I'll probably play it back on one of my future podcasts. Also, don't forget to click the button follow. I'd love for you to follow my podcasts. But it's been fun. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, here I am, Sidney St. James. Happy listening.